And as we start, I want to ask you, who wants to make 10 times more money? All of you, just raise hand if you want to make 10 times more money. What if I tell you right now in next 30 seconds you can make that one? Are you ready for it? The first person who comes on stage will get 10 times more money. Who's coming? Just come, any one of you who's ready to take that. Yes, she got it, she got it, she got it. And I'm going to do it right now. Let's see what we have. Yes, you have to come on stage. Come, come. You have to give me 1 dirham and I'm giving you 10 dirhams right away. So you give me afterwards. Thank you so much. Thank you. I got that. Yes. Now what's the difference between all of us and her? We all want to make 10 times more money, but she did it. There is a difference in intention and action. We all have the intention to do something, but the biggest thing which is missing is action. We want result, but we don't want to put effort. We don't want to show up. We want opportunities, but we don't want to show up. And intention equals to not result. Action equals to result. When you act, then only you get result. And that's the reason morning we were having conversation. So many people know about wellness and yoga and meditation. Are we all fit? No, we are not, right? Because intention is not same as action. So the first thing which I want you to do note today is take action, even if it's the tiniest action. You all have calculator with you, right? Just multiply 0.01 into 365. How much it is? 0.01 into 365. A very minute, minuscule improvement every single day, and you'll be around 35 to 36% ahead of everyone else just in 1 year. It could be reading a single page. It could be a very small thing that you have to do. So let's see. Now, next thing what I want you to do is that you have 30 seconds. All of you please stand up. You have to change something in you. Change anything in you. Just you have 30 seconds and your time starts now. Yes, come on. Change something in you. Change something. Change something in you. Whatever you like, just change something. You have tissues, you have paper, you have cup, you have bottle, you have so many things around you. Just think what change you want to do. Okay, all of you done? Please sit down. I would like to ask some of you from this table, what did you change?
I put my hair back.
Okay. From that table, someone can tell me what did you change? You removed that one? Okay. That table? Any one of you, tell me what did you change? You took that one. Okay. How many of you removed things while changing? Wonderful. Let's clap for them. Most of the time, we think change means adding something or adjusting something in myself. And that's what female are brainwashed from their childhood. We are told you have to dress up properly, you have to behave in certain way. This means we are adjusting ourselves or we are exchanging with someone. Nobody taught us change also means removing things. Because as you go high on the hill, when you started your career, you were at the bottom of the hill. You had a lot of baggages and all. But as you go higher and higher and higher, the gravitational force is high. You cannot carry heavy bag. And that's the reason woman is not able to go on top of the world. Why? Because we are carrying so many baggages. Nobody has taught us to remove. So today I'm going to ask you the very hard thing. You have to remove something. And the first one is the most hard thing. We all hate to do that. Any guesses what it is? People. You have to remove people from your life. And when I say remove, you have to literally remove them. People, those who don't add value to your career or professional goals. Why are you wasting your time? We all have 24 hours in a day. People, those who become CEO or those who are still thinking about CEO but sitting on their chair and not doing anything also have 24 hours. So if they can achieve, why can't you achieve it? So you have to remove people, those who are draining out energy from you, those who are not adding value to you. And this is not only a talk, I do this every month. On my LinkedIn, I remove hundreds of people from my account. Because I want people in my network, those who either like my post or engage with it. If they are there, but if they are not doing anything, what is the point of they being in my network? there is no point, right? So the first thing I expect you to remove people. Now, I want you to write down, the paper and pen is there in front of you. Write 3 names which you will remove today from your life. 3 people. I know this is the most difficult thing. And by the time you're writing, I'll tell you one of our family friends is there. I'm not add value to her, she's not adding value to me, so I have minimized my conversation. I meet her once in a year, that's it. So write name of 3 people to whom you're going to remove from your life. I told you the first one is the most difficult one. And when I say remove, you don't have to just go and close the door on their face. Minimize your conversation. Remove them from social media. Don't reply to their message. Don't give any of your energy to them. That's the first thing. The second one. The second is the belief. The beliefs which we are born with. My mom said, if my mom felt that she cannot be the winner, she has put those glasses on my eyes and I'm seeing the entire world blue or green because my mom has put those glasses on my eyes. So you have to change that belief because white is white. If you're not seeing white as white, you are wearing some glasses. The white is white. And the last one is the task. Anything which you do which doesn't add value to you, don't do that. 80% of the work can be done by only putting 20% of effort. The less work you do, the more time your brain will have to think bigger things and execute it. And this is so important, I'll repeat it one more time. The less work you do, the more productive you become. So use AI, use assistants, don't do it. You don't have to do everything by yourself. Ask for house help, ask for office assistant, outsource it, automate it, give it to AI. You don't have to do that. So remove these 3 things and you will have 80 to 90% free time for yourself. Now, can you tell me how many women are there in HR? No, not in this room, in general. More than 75% female are there. My question to you all is that when woman is there, why still the pay gaps are there? We say 75% HR is female. And still we have pay gaps. Why? They are sitting there, they can fix the problem. Why are they not doing that?
Because HR, they are not the lead decision makers. Sorry to say this. They have influence, but not the full influence. They are the leadership who are just giving them some tasks or things to do. They don't really change it.
Okay, so they don't have it. How about they making the business case and taking it to the management? That female can be the more productive, equally productive as male. So that part is missing here. Why woman is not speaking for herself, why woman is not supporting each other. That's where the gap lies. Now when it comes to neuroscience part, female brain is designed not for the risk management. Female hesitate to take risk. And the reason is that there is a part in our brain which is called as amygdala. I'll give this to you, you can see that one. You can take this and pass it on, which is right behind our eyes, which is the center for the risk management. Male have more risk capacity than female. They are ready to put anything at stake to get the benefit. And the bigger the risk is, the bigger the benefit is. But we hesitate to do that. Male look for the likelihood, finance, physical growth, market capturing market, launching new product, they are always ready. Female always look at the likelihood, impact. How my people will suffer? What will happen? Are we safe enough? Is it sustainable? Do I have enough resources to go through this one? So female risk capacity, biologically, because of evolutionary reason, it's quite low. That is one of the reasons we hesitate to take risk. That's why we get less reward. Another reason, during crisis time, what happens between male and female? Who takes more risk? Male or female? Yes, male takes more risk. When there is a crisis time, they'll do more investment. When there is a crisis time, female will save money. She will save resources. She'll be more worried about things. So this is a very natural phenomena we are having. If you want to get more advantage, you need to start taking risk, even if it's against your brain. So morning we were having discussion and someone was saying that the things are going very slow. And I said, this is the right time to experiment with your ideas. Because anyways, everybody is like busy with their own world. So even if it fails, nobody will notice it. So the same thing you can see in two different ways, right? This is the right time. If you have any crazy idea, just go and implement it. Those who love it, they will notice it. Those who don't love it, anyways, they are busy with their own problems. Nobody will notice that one. So just go ahead with that one and start taking risk. Risk is the only thing which can make you more money. Another one is a negotiation. Who thinks was a good negotiator, male or female? Female? For whom? Yes, I love what you said. Female are good at negotiating for others, not for themselves. So if I'm a team leader and if I go and talk to my manager that she deserves a promotion, I will fight. But if I need a promotion, I will not go and talk to him or her with the same intensity. That is a big disadvantage of female brain. So if you want to negotiate your salary next time, talk in the third person, fool your brain. Don't say that Neetu deserves, like I deserve a more salary. Say Neetu deserves it. The moment you start talking about yourself as a third person, your brain is fooled and it starts supporting, giving very nice objections and objectives to deal with that one. So this is how you can deal with the trick your brain. The next is female brain and male brain again. Male brain is evolved, and our culture, in most of the culture, male is developed for winning, while female is brought up for not losing. And there is a big difference in winning and not losing. Winning is not losing. Let me explain with a small story. Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, you would have heard about him. He was a missile man of India. And when in his book, he writes one of the stories. When he was very young, he was playing with his cousin. They both were swinging on the tree and suddenly wind started blowing. So his father told him, hold tight, hold tight, hold tight. His cousin's mom told, don't fall, don't fall, don't fall. What happened? Tell me what happened. Who fell down? His cousin fell down, because not falling is not same as holding tight. Let's do the experiment. Close your eyes for 30 seconds and just follow my instruction. I'll ask you to do something. Think about anything, but not a white cute teddy polo bear who's with his mom and there is a white snow on the sky, on that mountain, and they just rolling around, and suddenly that baby polar bear is rolling and falling and mom goes and tries to catch him and then he is cuddling with her. Open your eyes. What did you see first thing? White polar bear, but I asked you not to see that one, right? I'll tell you again experiment. Don't think of a glass full of water. That's what you will think. So brain doesn't understand no. Your brain doesn't understand. Don't think of a chair. What comes first in my mind? Chair, right? So not falling is not same as winning. Male is brought up for winning. Female is brought up for not losing. Start using the good narration for your daughters and for yourself. Next time when you go for a competition, don't say, I don't want to fail. I don't want traffic. I don't want my boss to shout at me. Say, I want to be the winner. I want promotion. I'm getting promoted. Talk what you want. Don't talk what you don't want. And this is so important. I'll repeat it one more time. Say what you want. Don't say what you don't want, because your brain is listening to everything you're saying. Now, Bilna has spoken about, and Emma also spoke about it. And the entry level, we have around more than 50%, 46% female joined. But as the level increases, senior roles, we have only 33% female. And when it comes to CEO level, we have only 9% female, those who are CEO. Why we have this problem? Because of various reasons that we have discussed in the panel discussion. When we talk about the board members, it is only 28% in spite of all the regulation from government side. CEO 8%, CFO 20%, and CHROs are 72%. So 72 CHROs are sitting there, 75% female are there, but still pay big gap is there.
About our company, we're privileged to have a female that sits in the seat, which was appointed, I would say like 6 months back. I guess it's a mindset of our country and how they actually perceive
Exactly. It's always about top down, it's never bottom up. What happens at the top, what language they use, what tone they set, it comes down to, it cascades down to the bottom team. Now, women are overtrained and under sponsored, and I was so happy in panel discussion that was coming out enough. People make, you'll hate me for this thing, many of you are going to hate me for this. How many of you are part of some women committee? Raise hand please. Women committee, any kind of women committee in your organization or any group. You know, women committees are what? Grown-ups are sitting on sofa or big table, they are having discussion, kids are troubling. So they make a small table and say, go take chocolate, sit there and enjoy. That's what the women committee is. If we want really women to rise, we need to give them seat at the main table, not at the women committee. And many HR hate me for that. Because women committee will not take you anywhere. They will just keep giving you training. Who will give you the opportunity? Women is overtrained and under-sponsored. The rooms where decisions are done, nobody is talking about her. Nobody is saying that, yes, you can do that, go ahead. I want her to lead this project, even if she is not ready. Another interesting study shows that male, when they are 50% ready, they still go ahead and say, I'm ready for this role. Female, when they are 80 to 87% are ready, still they feel they are not ready for it. And this statistics is really disturbing because again it goes back to the way female has been brought up. You have to get 10 out of 10, you have to be perfect, you have to dress up properly. When guest comes, you have to behave properly, you should not pull anyone's hair, you should not shout at someone. We all have gone through that and we are doing same with our daughters. So we have to change narration if we want them to be leaders. Now, you all have paper in front of you. I want you to cut that into 4 pieces. Just cut in 4 pieces, very simple activity. Simple 4 pieces we have to cut it. Done? Okay. Can you play, all of you, can you show everybody? Like just raise it so everyone can see that one. Perfect rectangles are there. Right? Who told you to cut like this? I never said I need perfect. I just said 4 pieces. Yes. Who told us? It's because somebody told us if you have to cut a paper in 4 pieces, it has to be equal. That's why everyone was folding it and creasing and then cutting it. That's what we are trying to fix into the mold which is there. All of us have done the same thing. How many ways can be there to cut a paper into 4 pieces? Millions of ways are there, but we left all those millions of ways and we did exactly the same thing. Just show all of you your papers. They all are same. Yes, wonderful. Let's clap for her. Yes. So every time you are cutting paper in the same size, when there is no instruction, this means you are playing the old script. We have forgotten to be creative, to be out of the box, because as Emma mentioned, the nail which comes out, I think Marisha mentioned, that gets the hardest hit and we don't want to get the hit. But remember, failure is painful. Regret is excruciating. And when you take your last breath, you will not remember that I cut the paper what my mom and grandmom and great-grandmom taught me. You will remember how out of the box I was, and I was doing crazy things and I did something which nobody has done before. You will remember that. So every time you look at the paper, remember this exercise. Just think, what are the different possible ways? 1 plus 1 is 2. But to get 2, there are 1 million ways I can get the 2. 4 minus 2 is also 2. Why when we say how to get 2, we say 1 plus 1 is 2. Yes, it is 2. But there are 1 million ways I can get the same result and I'll do my way, I'll not do your way. Because the world needs something new. If you have to stand out, you have to stand out. If you're mingling with the crowd, you will never stand out. And that's what it is called as a good girl syndrome. And it is a syndrome. We all are brought up to be the good girl. The problem is that the irony is that Girls are brought up to be good girl and boys are brought up to be brave boys. And I'll repeat it because this is so important. I want to get into your brain. Girls are brought up to be good girls. Boys are brought up to be brave boys. If your son goes and hits someone, you say, oh, he's a brave boy. Boys are boy. If girl goes and hits someone and pulls someone's hair, you say, you don't have taught her manners. What kind of mother you are? That's what it is. So we don't need any more brave girls. Now, I want all of you to stand up, please, and say with me, no more good girl. We'll be brave girls. Yes, say this, and every time anybody tries to fit you into their mold, say, I'm not going to fit into your mold. You are elephants. You are not a mouse. Their frame is a mouse. Imagine if you take an elephant and fix them into the mouse, how suffocated you will feel. And that's what you all are feeling, because you have a lot of potential, but somebody has told you that you have to live in this mouse cage. That's why you're doing it. So let's do on count of 1, 2, 3. What you have to do, you have to say, no more good girl, I'm brave girl. And we have to make this power pose, okay? Let's do that. 1, 2, 3. No more good girl, I'm a brave girl. Yes, and I'm a bossy girl and I'm a bad girl. No more good girl. Thank you so much, please sit down. And tell your daughters also, every time they come and ask, Amma, I'm a good girl. No, you are a brave girl. Now, this is the data from Harvard Business Review. You will see that male gets more positive feedback compared to female, and male gets more objective feedback, female gets more subjective feedback, which has no way to calculate it. And this is a global data from 1800 companies it is. So globally it is happening. We have to stop that narration. Now, I may request you again one more time to please stand up and stretch your hand as much as you can. As much as maximum possible. Done? Okay. Remember how much you have stretched. Okay, please bring your hand down. Now, I want you to stretch again, but this time little bit more, 5% more. Whatever you did your maximum, just little more. Yeah, please relax. Were you able to stretch 5% extra? From where did it come? First time when you did, you said, yes, I have done my enough. Please sit down. You have done enough. From where this 5% came? From you only, right? We all have the capacity to stretch 5 minutes, but we give up on 100 only. We don't want to do 105. So every time you choose that, okay, this is a time I want to give up, I'm done, I can't do anything. Just give that extra 5%. Just that 5%. And that 5% will make you stand out, be chosen for opportunities, be seen in the world as a leader. Consistency gives the result. Not your talent, not somebody's blessings or something. They add on to that. But consistently, when you're sick, you're scared, you don't have the mood, you're tired, these are not even the reasons not to do something. Whatever you do, if you're reading a book, just read 5% extra. If you're writing an article, just write 5%. Today I'm going to write little extra. If you're doing a research, just do 5% extra research. Do something which, whatever you love to do, just do that 5% extra, and we will meet after 1 month and you tell me what results you are getting. And again, you're going to hate me. I think after this session, you all are going to hate me. We all talk about same pay for same work. But we have not reached anywhere with this slogan. So let's change it to same work for same pay. When we demand same pay, we have to give the same work. And I think it has come out from the panel discussion. If your work demands that you have to go out in hot sun and stand at the construction site, you have to do that. If your work demands that you have to work at the night shift, you have chosen that one. So we will get the same pay for the same work if we do the same work for the same pay. No cutting corners and no taking excuses that I'm a female, that's why I will not work. Why did I put this? Because I have seen it more often than anything else. If it's office is like this and a lot of tables are there, female will say, I will not take the center seat. I want the corner seat because I have to put my mirror. Can a male say that? No. So when you are in that arena, nobody cares you are male or female. Just take what is required for that job. And I'll repeat it one more time. Just take what is required for the job, and nothing in the world can stop you from achieving what you want to achieve. Many people hate me for that. So I want to ask you, the first thing we asked is to removing people, right? 5 things we have seen today. Removing people, belief, and task. What was the second thing we saw? Take risk. Bigger the risk is, bigger the reward is here. Your brain will say, don't take risk because you will fail, people will laugh. I always say, I'm 40 plus. I'm going to live for another 4 decades maximum if I take care of myself. After that, I'll be gone. People will forget me within 2 days. My family will forget me within 1 week. They'll be back to their work. All of you, those who are listening me, you will be also gone in 4 or 5 decades, not more than that. So why does it matter what you think about me? What matters is what I think about myself. So forget about what people will say, what they will laugh. They are also going to die, we are also going to die, and nobody will remember us. So just go ahead and do what you want to do. Take risk, don't settle for less. The biggest problem with female is that we settle for less. I remember when I was denied promotion for being a female, my manager told me, at least be happy you have a job. No, I'm not happy. I like unhappy people, I like frustrated people, because if you're unhappy, that shows that you are outgrown that place and you're ready for next. So be unhappy and nurture your unhappiness. Don't go for happiness coaching and all, go for unhappiness coach. Get more unhappy, because when you reach the saturation of unhappiness, then your brain will push you to the next level. So don't be happy in your life. Now you know why people hate me. Don't be good girl. We have to be brave girls now. And doing 5% extra. Whatever, whenever you feel I'm done with it, do 5% extra, and I can guarantee you with my 25 years of experience and thousands of clients, you will get result. Nobody in the world can stop that. Cause and effect is a simple equation. Create the cause, effect will follow it. And the last activity, I want you to give hug to one person in this room. Quickly, let's do this. Just give a hug. Wonderful. Why you did not choose yourself? I said give a hug to one person. All of us are giving to other person, forgetting ourselves. You are that person who needs hug. So let's hug ourselves once. If you don't love yourself, nobody in the world will love you. If I ask for a glass of water and you don't have water, how will you give me? So you have to fill your glass first before you help anyone else. And I have learned it a hard way. Be your biggest admirer, love yourself, be obsessed with yourself. Say, look in the mirror and say, wow, I look so terrific. My goodness, Neetu, you are the best. Every day say that. Every day say out loud. Even if people laugh at it, let them laugh. Be the first person who loves you. Thank you so much. I love you all.